WTMP HD, Egypt Lake, Tampa, and now on 102.1 in Pinellas County.
All righty. Tampa Bay. Boy, this has been one long week for Eddie Adams Jr. And I usually don't speak in the third person, but that's how long the week has been. So we got some stuff going on, and I gotta tell y'all, at some point in time, I actually was a part of a panel, and the panel was set up by the Urban League of Hillsborough County. And I like that because, see, what they don't know is when I was running for U.S. Congress, that 8 years, 10 years, however long it was, I got to walk into a room of people who I pretty much knew did not like me, and I got to kicking some butt. And I got good at it. You know, because the things I'm saying, see, they all reading from scripts and listening to what somebody's saying who didn't know what the hell they was talking about. You know, and so when they start debating me, I start throwing stuff out there where this is their room. Their room full of people. They set up a room full of people, mostly leftists, Democrats, and some other folks. And before the evening was over with, half of the people, see, because I can see as we go, when I start talking, everybody starts shaking their head. Yes. See, I can read the room. See, that's what a lot of these new people that in politics don't know how to do. They don't know how to read a room. You know, they saying stuff nobody believes but them. And if I'm talking and everybody's shaking their head, then when I finish talking, even when I had opponents, these guys running against me, first thing they say when I got through talking, well, I agree with Eddie, I agree with Mr. Adams. You know, you don't supposed to agree with me. You're supposed to come back with something of your own. You can't keep using my words in a debate that I'm at, because I'm gonna tell people, you know, listen to these folks. See what they all saying? They all saying they agree with me. You know, that ain't the way it's supposed to work. You know, so when I'm in the room and I'm doing debating, I pretty much take over the room. I don't care who I'm debating, because that's what you're supposed to do. If you're in a debate, them other people are just there for fodder. You know, they're cannon fodder. You know, they there for people to see what not to say, and that's the way I make it. So, anyway, let me get the show started. 888-247-8712. 888-247-8712. That's the call-in number if you want to call in during the show. Now, if you want to call me after the show is over, 813-12. That's my number. And I think most of you know my number because you guys have been using it. That's a good thing. I'm not complaining. Keep using it because that's how we know we're getting the message out. And Tim said that on this day is more popular than ever. And we started doing that a number of years ago. And I see it everywhere now. Because I'm not looking for it, but if it's something you created and you see it, well, then you recognize it, you know? And nobody else is going to ever do it as good as me. So I'm the originator. I'm like Pepsi. I'm like Coke. Coke was first and then came Pepsi. All right. For today's show, we're going to talk about politics as usual. Because we have a guest. And our guest is the judge candidate. And I don't tell a lot of people this, but I've been knowing this young lady for a while. Matter of fact, I've been knowing her ever since I came to Tampa. So we go way, way back, as they say. So I'm going to introduce her, and then we're going to kind of talk about her, and then if something else come up, you know, we'll take your call, and we're going to work it all out, and before you know it, the hour will be gone. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to some, reintroduce to others, Miss Belinda Noah. And let me throw this out there because I knew her husband when he first came to America. So that was way back when. I don't want to say how far back it was, because I don't want to give away the young lady's age on the radio. But welcome this fine Saturday morning. How are you doing? Let's talk. Tell people who you are and how they can get in contact with you, and how they can give you some money if that's legal and okay. Because I know this judge thing is kind of funny, but we're gonna spend an hour doing what we do.
Thank you very much, Eddie. I really appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me on the program. And yes, we go way back. You are correct. Back to my freshman year in college, in fact.
My freshman
yeah,
year
your
in
freshman
college.
year as well. Yes. So really.
At USF.
At USF. Yes. Go Bulls. Great memories. Yes, and yes, indeed, I am a candidate for Circuit Court Judge in Hillsborough County on Group 6, and I am definitely asking for everyone's vote. I appreciate it, and I am committed to fair and impartial justice for everyone. I am committed to the rule of law. I am committed to enforcing and respecting the U.S. Constitution as well as the Florida Constitution. So, of course, I have many years of legal experience, and I want to take that legal experience to the bench to serve the people, because I appreciate that the people have the power, and I want to provide justice for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that was like the introduction, and if you would kind of tell the people, I think everybody running for judge all have already been lawyers. So have you did work in the community, around the community? I know I've seen you, doing a couple of things, but you want to tell the people, because I think I went to a couple of other debates, and that's the first thing, came up a couple of Saturdays ago. You was there, weren't you, at the tea and conversation?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, so
Yes.
so you'll see, so I
Yes.
think one of the most concern the community had about the lawyers trying to be judges up there was their work in the community. So
Yes, absolutely. I have worked in the community all my life. I have served as a volunteer with various organizations, the NAACP, the Tampa Urban League. In fact, I put together a public relations program for the Tampa Urban League years ago that brought in thousands of dollars to the organization. I've also served with various bar associations. I am one of the founding members of the George Edgecombe Bar Association, and I've also worked with various churches. I've put on seminars in the Black community as well as the other communities concerning various areas of the law on a pro bono basis. I have participated in food drives as well as helped to build homes for individuals with Habitat for Humanity. I continuously deliver meals as a part of Meals on Wheels. I'm also a member of the Girl Scouts, and I provide guidance to individuals in that arena. I'm a former board member of the Salvation Army. I am also the first lawyer to have started a legal talk show in Tampa Bay called Legal Notes that provided pro bono advice to the African American community and all communities, and I received a pro bono award for that effort from the Hillsborough County Bar Association. So I have been very active in the community. I also have been active with the NAACP, and I also have really encouraged the students who are participating in the AXO program and provided guidance and support to them. So there's really very few areas that I have not impacted in some manner with my legal pro bono talk show, as well as my service to the community, helping various organizations. And I will continue to do so if elected to serve as your circuit court judge in Hillsborough County.
this primary, is it you either win or lose?
Exactly. Whoever gets the most votes on August 23rd is the winner, because there are only two candidates in my race.
Okay. Is the other person an incumbent or not?
The other person is an incumbent, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
But there's a need for diversity on the bench. There's a need for someone with my level of experience and my level of commitment to the community. So it was, I would have been remiss if I had not stepped up to the plate, so to speak, to serve the people of this great county.
Okay. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I know these judges can't answer all different kinds of questions. So if you could give your opinion, so you know what you can talk about that's currently happening around the around the county. So I don't know what you can answer. So if you could just give us some stuff that you've been concerned about and you would like to see change.
Yes, thank you, Eddie. Yes, of course, as you stated, I always have to state that no matter what my personal opinion is, I am committed to upholding the rule of law and to deciding the cases based on the facts, the evidence, and the case law pertaining to each individual case. And I would have to say that I was the attorney that stepped up to the plate with respect to providing legal information to the City of Tampa employees who were concerned about the vaccine mandates that were being imposed upon them. So I presented the legal information that they needed and that they had requested so that they would have an opportunity to make an informed decision with respect to whether or not they wanted to take the vaccine. And of course, many of them did not want to. And so they reached out to me, as an attorney for legal representation. And I must say that that was one reason I decided to run for office, because I felt that there was a void there with respect to providing the community, this great community, and the great hardworking City of Tampa employees, the information that they were requesting so that they would not go blindly into making a decision that was of so much importance to their health and to their well-being and to their various positions. So I did that, and so I think that it's incumbent upon lawyers as well as judges to provide that type of service. And in fact, it is one of the missions of a judge is to provide legal information to the community, to provide an opportunity for the community to understand the importance of the judicial system and to understand how the judicial system impacts them. So that is something I will continue to do if I am elected to serve as your next circuit court judge.
Okay. So I know that there's a couple of things that involves the mayor. I know you can't comment on it, but this should be something that I heard and I was a part of it. And I'm just wondering, I heard that the mayor had passed, done something to make Juneteenth a city holiday now. So I'm not knowing if that's something you could comment on or not.
I can't really comment on that at the moment, but I do know that it's important. African American history, Black history in Florida is very important, and in fact, I have worked in that area for quite some time. I was probably one of the first lawyers to produce television shows concerning the history of the Black codes in the state of Florida, the history of the Jim Crow laws in the state of Florida, and how they had impacted the African Americans, Black Americans, as well as other Floridians. And so that is something that's very dear to me as a native Floridian, as an African American whose family has lived here for thousands of years. It's very dear to my heart. So there is a need for that type of education and that type of dissemination of information, because when I wrote the book called The Black Seminoles, that I had to use the subtitle, The Little Known Story, because very few people are aware that such people even exist, and but they have existed here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So the history is very, very important to me because it impacts the present.
See, it's also important to me because my grandfather's mother is a Seminole Indian, and
Yes.
she's 100% Seminole.
Yes.
You know, so see, because a lot of folks don't realize that way back when, well, not that far back. I mean, because my grandfather's only one generation away.
Yes.
You know, but his mother was a Seminole Indian, and all of his sisters look more like Indians than they do like black folks.
Yes.
You know, so there are certain signs and certain things that I can see. You know, but it's not known.
Exactly. It's not known, and our families really didn't want to talk about it because of the repercussions that they experienced. The Trail of Tears, for example. So it was very, very hush hush. You did not talk about it. You did not want anyone to know, especially when we were growing up. And so that's one reason why most people do not realize it. And but I do think that it's important to uncover that history so that the young people can have a complete perspective as to the history of Florida and the history of this country. But I do appreciate why they were reluctant to discuss it and why they did not want to. Not all of them, thank God, and which is why which is why I was able to find out a lot about the history. My mother and father did open up to me because my father, he was in a work-related accident, and so he recuperated. He lost his leg. The tractor that he was operating turned over on him, and his colleagues did not get to him. It took over an hour.
Wow.
Yes, and so by the time they reached him, they took him to the Suwannee County Hospital in Live Oak, Florida, but they felt he needed to go to the VA hospital in Lake City because they did not want to lose him. So they transported him to the Lake City hospital, the VA hospital, but they had to amputate his leg in order to save his life. So after that time, Eddie, my father, he recuperated for over a year. And so during that period, we had more time to talk, my mother, my father, and I. And so that's when they began to tell me a little bit more about the history. And then, of course, my first introduction into the law was when my mother and father they recruited me to write letters to various agencies on my father's behalf. He dictated the letters because he is a Buffalo soldier. He fought in World War II in the Italian theater, and he was wounded. So he had benefits that were due him that were not forthcoming. So I started drafting letters to various agencies requesting his benefits. And then looking back, I realized that was probably my introduction to the law. And because I've always wondered why did I decide to go into law school, and so that memory really served me well as far as the fact that I realized that was the catalyst, so to speak. So but he did receive his benefits, and eventually, but yes, it was quite an experience.
See, Belinda,
Yes.
the universe can take a lot. And what I tell people, what I try to do is put goodwill. I try to put as much good as I can at it, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yes.
You never know when it's going to come back. And like they say, if you put it out there, it comes back tenfold. And I'm a witness to that. You know, because a lot of times I find myself in a situation where I truly can't figure out how to get out of it, you know, without a lot of pain and heartache. And just when I'm about ready to do something that I feel I'm going to regret, the solution comes.
Yes.
And it comes in such a way that I could have never planned it myself. That's why I tell people, you know, like, it's a lot of nasty campaigns going on now. and I hear people throwing shade, throwing mud, throwing dirt, all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it don't matter whether you're the best candidate or the least candidate. When they go and vote, they very seldom ever know very much about you. They probably know more now about you, than they do all the other candidates running for judge.
Yes, you are correct, Eddie. You are correct, because when normally individuals who vote for everyone else, at least 15 to 30% will not vote for the judges because they know nothing about them. So that is absolutely correct. And it's because of the nature of our campaigns, as you referenced earlier, the fact that the judicial races are different. We are limited as far as what we can say and what we can do. We're not allowed to request donations, for example, directly from individuals. Now, our committee can do so, but we cannot. And so, and there are other areas we cannot address. And if we do address a particular issue, as I said earlier, we have to preface it by stating that no matter what our personal opinion is, we are committed to upholding the rule of law. We are committed to fair and impartial justice and basing our decisions on the facts, the evidence, and the case law of each case.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, what we did for the last 20 minutes is make you human. See, because I have been to a lot of these horse and pony shows where you go up there and you perform for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes.
I mean, and the nature of Porch Talk Radio is we talk to people. We talk to your soul.
Yes.
We talk to your heart, your mind, and your soul. Because I've been told, well, Eddie, you preaching. No, I ain't preaching. See, that's the problem. The problem is nobody wants to talk real politics. They want to talk that stuff you get from TV. And they want to talk that stuff you get from the false media. They want to talk around the issue. That when you never talk about politics and you never talk about religion. That's what you're supposed to be talking about. Politics and religion, that changes the world. That makes the world the world. But you don't want to talk about it. Because somebody don't want to hurt your feelings. I have never got mad at anyone I'm having a political conversation with. And y'all know me. Y'all, my views and some of my points are out there. And my problem is I'm not afraid to say it. So I put it out there, and it goes into the universe, and it comes back several different ways. But a lot of the things that I say is the things that's being masked, being hidden. They don't want you to know what's going on. It affects the way people react to you. By me saying some of the stuff I say, especially when I'm in a mixed audience, I have to say black and white. I make sure folks know, this is for black folks, this is for white folks. And the fact of the matter is, this haven't just started happening. I'm talking about way back before Cleopatra in Egypt. I'm going to ask you a question right off the top of my head.
Yes.
When is the last time you seen a picture of the real Cleopatra?
It's been a while, and you have to really sift through quite a few. You really do.
I've never seen her as a black person.
Yes, I have in Africa.
But see, you've been to Africa.
Yes.
See, I'm talking about over here.
Over here, I haven't. Yes.
See that's my point. You got a country that you can put China, America, you can put Europe, and all. You can put most of the leading financial countries for money. You can put all of them in the geographical continent of Africa.
Yes.
And the prettiest woman, not me saying it, I guess for a couple of 100 years, they have been saying Cleopatra is probably the most beautiful woman ever to walk the earth. But for some reason or another, every time I see a picture of her, she's so white, or she's Asian, or she's Arab. I have never, me personally, have never seen a picture of Cleopatra, the most beautiful symbolism of female virtue, and I've only seen her as somebody I know she's not. I know she ain't white. Not from Egypt 3,000 years ago. I know she ain't white.
And even if she was, with she got a tan for sure, because you will
You can't tan that much.
you know you can tan. So what I mean, yes, definitely. So yes.
See that's kind of it's something bigger than all of us. The fact that something tells me, and everybody tells me she was so beautiful. They fought a war over this woman. It was a couple of women they fought wars over, but she was one of them. And for some reason or another, and they painted, they sculptured, and I'm waiting to see, and this to the listeners too, a real picture. If you've seen one, if you could give me a call, text it to me, send it to my text. And I ain't talking about none of these made up folks. I'm talking about the real Cleopatra.
And yes, of course, even if she had been white, spending time in Egypt, she would quickly become dark. So even that fact alone, because that's just the way it is. Because I know a lot of some of my friends, you definitely have to get a tan, because it's such a beautiful area that you want to be out as much as possible. So even so, there's just no reason for those pictures to depict her in that fashion.
See, that's what I'm talking
Yes.
about. So there's a plan to belittle Africa, to belittle Africans. Even some of the other black queens from Africa. When I see them, this American media, for some, there's some people that you see in movies and on TV that that person can't see. There's a respect. There's certain respect for people. If you know so and so was Asian, and for them to put them on TV as Elizabeth Taylor play some Asian woman.
Yes.
It won't. They won't sell. The general population wouldn't accept it.
Yes, and initially when Elizabeth Taylor played, I believe Cleopatra, they had initially requested that a African American actress play her, but for some reason she was replaced, and they replaced her with Elizabeth Taylor, and they put very dark makeup on Elizabeth Taylor. So that's what what has been happening throughout the years. The black actresses have been available. They have even been requested, but usually they are replaced, and that's what happened with Cleopatra. Elizabeth Taylor played Cleopatra, and so it's unfortunate.
And if you Google Cleopatra right now, you're gonna see everybody except you'll find 10 white Arab women picture on Google. If you I know Google and what Google supposed to be, but there's certain things you gotta get right, Google. I'm sorry, else it's a sham. It's a sham.
Yes. There's such a great need to really bring all of the true history to the American people and to the people of the world, and so that's a project that's very dear to me, because my undergraduate major, as you recall, Eddie, is mass communications.
Right.
So I've always tried to combine mass communications with the law, and so that has kept me in the legal as well as the entertainment arena, but entertainment that not only entertains but also informs. And so that's why I produced a play called the Black Seminoles, which depicts the little known story of the Black Seminoles, and also I was asked to to take that motion picture to the silver screen. So I produced I wrote the screenplay for that motion picture so that people will have an opportunity to see the true history, to understand the true history, but also to be entertained. So it's a dramatization of the true history of what took place in Florida with respect to the native Floridians that were also black Floridians, as well as the Seminole Indians, the Indian Seminole Indians that were, a lot of them were Creek Indians from Georgia who came down to Florida to escape the persecution that they were receiving in Georgia, because Florida at that time was a free state, and the people, the native Floridians, were free citizens, even though it was being controlled by Spain to a certain, in a certain manner. The Spanish people also recognized that anyone in Florida was considered a free citizen of Florida. So that's why we had a lot of the Creek Indians who came down and joined forces with the native Floridians and became known as the Seminoles.
Well, see now, and to get back to your judgeship.
Yes.
the whole thing, Porch Talk Radio, one of the things that we have been doing for the last couple of months is talking about brainwashing. How much brainwashing and how much time has been spent trying to convince black folks that we dumb, we stupid, we ignorant, and we the bottom of the list. No matter where you are, if you got black folks in the population, you're at the bottom. You're at the bottom culturally, you're at the bottom mentally. The only thing you're gonna be is a brute. You're gonna be physical. You're gonna run faster, you're gonna jump higher. But see, that's not true, because I was looking at something yesterday and I was saying, man, I didn't know that. A black person did this, black person do that. And so what I do on my Facebook page is I start putting pictures of modern African cities. They look at those, people look at those and say, what? Yeah, that's in Africa right now, today. That's how it look. It ain't the huts that people keep trying to make you think that black folks still living in huts. Yeah, I can go right here to the Bahamas and see black folks living in huts. It ain't just because, they can't do better. They got people in huts all over the world. And if you go to some of these northern places, they still living in caves.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And it starts with, if you recall the map, for example, Africa is one of the largest continents. But if you look the largest continent. But if you look at the map, it appears that Africa is the smallest. So it begins there with that.
Tucking it.
Exactly. So that's a disservice to the children. That's a disservice to the educational system when they are not correcting those types of obvious errors and attempt to brainwash and undermine a people and a culture. So that's why it's so important to recognize the contributions that black people, African Americans, have made in the history of the world. And of course, the original Chinese people were black people. So you have to appreciate that the origination of the science and the technology and the medicine, all of that came from black people out of Africa, out of Egypt and other parts of Africa. So that premise has to be known. That has to be known by everyone, and I think that will be the beginning of a solution to the problems that we face with the misrepresentation and the misunderstanding of the contributions that black people have made in the history of the world. And it really should be obvious, but it's a lot more difficult to
brainwashing.
Yes, because of the brainwashing, exactly. So that's why, as an individual, I want to do everything that I can to bring the true history to the people and to provide the individuals with the knowledge they they would like to know concerning the judicial system, the legal system, because as an attorney with over 39 years of legal experience, and I'm one of only a very few attorneys that has the highest degree attainable by a lawyer, which is the Doctor of Juridical Science degree. Very few lawyers have that degree in this country, and definitely no one in my race has that degree except for me. So I want to make a contribution to the people as a judge, as a public servant, so that I would not suffer the wrath of my ancestors who have contributed, who have sacrificed so much to enable me to be in this position.
And have it stolen.
Yes, exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
I say the truth.
Exactly.
I throw it out there. They can
Yes.
look it up and do the research and believe it or not believe it. But cause let me tell you something. I told somebody the other night.
Yes.
The truth do not need a cosigner. The truth can stand on its own, anytime, any place, because you can bury it, but with time it will dig itself back up, and you will identify it. So it's been a long time. It's been 7,000 years,
Yes.
and they've hidden the history of a lot of black accomplishments. Because I've been in China, and I've been in Japan, and do you know if you get the old Buddhas that they got locks?
Yes.
They got locks on their head.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some
And
of
the
old
Madonnas as well, because
Yeah.
when I was in the Netherlands, I went to one of their top museums, and the museum director told me, well, if you come back on the weekend, we can take you to the special room. And in the special room, they have all of the black Madonnas. They have all of the black statues of the original people of that area.
Mhm.
So yes, you are absolutely correct. But a lot of it is hidden, even if they are holding on to it. It's hidden in special rooms that
Right.
the
Right.
general population
They don't want you to know.
they will not see it
They don't
unless
want you
you
to
make
know.
a specific request.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And I was talking with someone the other day. I do a lot of talking.
Yes.
You know, about the wealth of black folks, because many of them really don't understand how economics work. And the average black family is 2 months away from bankruptcy. So pretty much you work most of your life making somebody else millions of dollars. I don't care if you're working at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, because if you take that $15 an hour everybody arguing, cussing, and fussing with, the first bag or two you hand out the window is been $15. That means the whole rest of that hour is going to somebody else. And if you understand economics, okay, I'm you myself. I worked at the hospital.
Okay.
I did a test that they charged $300 for everybody. I would do an average of 30 to 40 tests an hour in an 8-hour day times 300. How much money at the end of a year that is? That's me, one person, have made. Now, I didn't break even. I didn't become a free American citizen until I reached 60. Up until that point in time, I either had a house payment, I had a car payment, I had some other payment, I had credit cards. You're not free if you got all this debt. That's how they enslave you.
Yes, that's true. That's true. It's that way for African Americans and for most Americans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the richest country in the world, it's an unfortunate circumstance that the American people are facing, and of course it just depends on what a particular person's interest is. But of course, you have to appreciate that the appreciation, let's say in land, is very important, because land in general will appreciate, and that's a real asset. So you have to think about what are the real assets that I should be investing in, which would be land, equipment, um, and of course, food supply,
Right.
crop seeds. Those items are items that are needed by everyone, and you just cannot go wrong. And of course, certain individuals you will also will consider investing in other companies, for example, on the stock market. But again, that fluctuates, and I wouldn't provide advice concerning what investment, but I would say that definitely land. You cannot go wrong with land. You cannot go wrong with equipment. You cannot go wrong with agriculture, with food crops.
Okay, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Hi. How you doing this morning, this afternoon? Who are you, where you calling from, and what say you? Hello?
Good afternoon, Brother Adams. This is Fred Hearns in Pinellas County.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
doing just fine. Hello to you and Attorney Noah.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Great.
Eddie, once again, my brother, you're talking about my favorite subject, and Black history. And let me just say this. I decided years ago that everything you said this afternoon is true. And many of us are aware of this. So the question I pose to myself is, what is our public school district doing in Hillsborough County to teach our true history? And so a couple of years ago, I got together with school board member Lynn Gray, some other folks, Henry Washington. We have a task force, and membership on that task force is open to anybody representing an organization or their business or even their church or their fraternity or sorority to become a part of this task force. Right now, one of the things I'm looking at is what courses in African history, not African American history, which begins with slavery. We got to start long before then.
Right.
What courses in African history are being taught in the public schools in Hillsborough County? And that is something that I started looking at a couple of years ago. We're looking at it again. The school board, as you know, in all of the counties in the state, purchase textbooks. Every few years, they purchase new textbooks. So which textbooks are being purchased and what supplemental material is being presented and which courses and which schools have those courses? Those are all important questions, and I'm inviting anyone interested in joining the Hillsborough County African American History Task Force to get in contact with me. Let's have a conversation, and if you think it's something that you could do, we don't spend a lot of time. We meet once a month on Zoom, but this is very important. We can talk about this problem until the cows come home, and it will not change on its own. We have to push that change, and
Actually,
that's the way it's always been with us. So if I can give my email address,
go ahead.
fhearns@tampabayhistorycenter.org. fhearns, Hearns, at tampabayhistorycenter.org. Reach out to me. Let's have a conversation, and I'd like to get other folk involved in our task force.
Thank you very much, Fred. Fred, I would like to add something to what you just said. The topic I think that hurts black folks the most is that they no longer teach civics. History and civics. Civics is how the country works, how it's run. Who's this person? Why is this person there? And the fact of the matter is you got a whole generation of kids who don't know why the governor can come down and fire the attorney general. Why the governor can do who gets elected, why they get elected, how long they're elected, what is their job. If you don't know the basics, everybody keep assuming that you know all this stuff, and you never get it because nobody ever stops and explains it to the kids.
You're absolutely right. And you know where civics has its roots? In African history,
Yes.
African government.
Right.
Yes.
So once again, we're back to African history.
Yes.
But you're right. Civics is a lost art, the teaching of it.
But it's still important.
Yes, it's very important.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. And yes, and I agree. There's an opportunity to engage African publishers, because we do have outstanding African publishers. In fact, when I was the director of the Founder Institute in Ghana, one of my outstanding graduates was a publisher of educational books, and so I do know that they have outstanding schools, elementary schools, because some of my children attended school overseas in Ghana, for example, and they have an outstanding educational system there as well. And the books are really, they really address the history of Africa. So that is definitely something that I would like to get involved with, and do everything I can to be of benefit to your organization.
And I'll be calling you too, Fred, because you know I'm into that. and this is a great platform, so that's why I try to make sure that people understand our job here every Saturday is to provide information that's going to help move the Black community forward. And we keep doing that, and we keep doing it. So.
Yes.
Let me do, since we got a break here, we're going to do on this day, which has been important because, like I said at the beginning of the show, we keep hearing on this day, and if I believe that if enough people take it upon themselves to provide some of the lesser known information that's important, we as a whole community keep moving forward. Because every now and then I run across somebody who asks me about some of this stuff, and I go to a couple of different places, and I say, on this day, what happened? They tell you lives, marriages, deaths, and historical events. So I figure if I keep throwing them out there, if nothing else, you guys will have a little bit of trivia if you ever play trivia games. On this day, August the 20th, 1866, President Andrew Johnson formally declares the U.S. Civil War to be over. On this day, August 20th, 1993, the peace accord, the Oslo Peace Accords, after secret negotiations in Norway, followed by public ceremony in Washington, D.C., the following month. That's when the Oslo Peace Accord happened. On this day, August 20th, 2000, PGA Championship men's golf, Tiger Woods became the first since Ben Hogan in 1953 to win 3 majors in a calendar year. The wins were back-to-back PGA championships in 3-hole playoff with Bob May. So I don't know, sometimes it get particular, but sometimes it's general and everybody know. And last but not least, on this day, August 20th, 2017, everybody's favorite muscular dystrophy fundraiser, Jerry Lewis, died. So, you want to give your information for people who can help you?
Yes. Again, my name is Belinda Noah, and I am a Hillsborough County Circuit Court Judge candidate, Group 6, and I am respectfully asking for your vote. You may vote early. Today, the polls will be open until 6 p.m., and tomorrow they will be open between 10 to 6 p.m. as well. And then, of course, the election day is August 23rd, 2022. So, again, my name is Belinda Noah, and I'm respectfully asking for your vote, and I appreciate your support. And again, my website is vote for, that's FOR, BelindaNoah.com. Vote for BelindaNoah.com if you would like to find out more about my campaign. And of course, I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I am committed to fair and impartial justice. I am committed to providing justice for you, because I understand that you, the people, have the power. And I will definitely base my decisions on the case law, the evidence, and the facts of each case. And I will not be beholden to outside interests. And again, I appreciate that the majority of the defendants that come before the court or African American or Hispanic. So we do need representation on the court. We do need diversity, because diversity on the bench provides a better appreciation of the legal system, and a better and more trust in the legal system by the community. So thank you very much for your vote.
All right, and I gotta say, I've done this for a while. It's not just a radio show. Once I got into politics, my eyes were open to what's actually happened. And everybody in the system needs to know who the judges are. Not that you're looking forward to showing up in front of some of them. And I told a couple of people last week in conversation I had, when I voted on the first day that you can vote early. I showed up, and I got my ballot, and something else. Everybody I voted for, I knew. I had met, I had talked. They had came to me, I had went to them, and I had a pretty good idea who that person was. Not many people can say that, and I'm surprised, because I was in a room full of upwardly mobile young black professionals, lawyers and accountants and business owners and stuff, and when I said that, they all had this befuddled look on their face, like, what is that? What are you talking about? I think that's the standard. You should know. Judges, state people, governors, senators, reps, city councilmen, county commissioners, all those people that you're voting for, they campaign for a whole year, 6 months, 2 years, some of them. It's no reason you should not, if you're thinking about voting for somebody, they got your attention, show up at one of their events. They all having meet and greets, fundraisers, all that stuff. I wouldn't vote for somebody I didn't know. I would not. Because the system is made. That's why they out there pounding the pavement, showing up, knocking on your door. They want to talk to you.
Yes, that is true. And of course, as we were talking about earlier, 15 to 30% of the people that vote in the elections don't vote for the judges because they don't know them. So I have been doing everything to get out into the community, to get to know the people, in addition to the work that I've always been doing. And I've also sent out emails to practically everyone in Hillsborough County, introducing myself and providing them with the video so that they can get to know me, and also providing them with my website as well, which has a lot of information. So yes, Eddie, you are correct, and I have definitely been out there having various meet and greets and attending various forums and appearing on very esteemed radio shows such as yours, Eddie.
Thank you.
And then again, I've also sent out the emails with the video introducing myself and letting people know what I feel you should expect from a judge, because that's very important, as Eddie stated. So please look for my emails, everyone, because I have been sending them out for several weeks. They may go to spam in some cases, but you will be receiving them before the election day if you have not already before August 23rd. So thank you again, Belinda Noah, Circuit Court Judge candidate.
And I'm gonna say something, and I don't think it's out of place because I told you before I say what I think. That without any filter. Sometimes that may be good, that may be bad, but we need more black female judges in Hillsborough County. I'm gonna just say it, because if that person up there don't have a clue as to what you have lived, what you went through, how you end up in front of them. I mean, sometimes it's not as simple as it may seem. It may sound simple because you got a snippet that some newsroom editor put together, some journalists, and they put it out there, and you got 30 minutes. You got 30 seconds. I'm sorry, 30 seconds. And you got 30 seconds to make a decision, good, bad, indifferent. And usually it's the police people who put that snippet together, and they're not in the business of making you look good. If you're in a courtroom, you're going to look bad. I'm going to tell you, if it's on the news, you don't get a chance to control it. You don't get a chance to moderate it. You don't get anything except for what they get. And that's what they all got. Now, the judge get to hear a little bit more, but if you don't have a black judge who's doing black folks justice, then you don't get it. So until next week, Tampa Bay, when we do this again, we love you here, and get out there and vote. Bye-bye.